A courtroom revelation just exposed something that has never happened before in American legal history, and it could bring down an entire prosecution. We're not talking about a minor procedural error. We're talking about an indictment that legally doesn't exist, an attorney general who may have known, and a special counsel so inexperienced that legal experts are calling for disbarment. This isn't just about James Comey anymore. This is about the integrity of the entire justice system. What happened in federal court today changes everything. Lindsey Halligan, the special counsel appointed to prosecute James Comey, just admitted something stunning. The indictment she's been prosecuting never went before a full grand jury. Only two grand jurors ever saw it. The foreman signed it, and Halligan presented it to a judge as if it were legitimate. Legal experts are in shock. Former White House attorney Ty Cobb didn't mince words when he said you couldn't find a stock boy at Home Depot who could have handled this more ineptly. This isn't just an experience. This is potential prosecutorial misconduct at the highest levels of the justice system. Here's why this matters. Under American law, a grand jury needs a quorum to return an indictment. That quorum is 12 jurors. Halligan's indictment was seen by 2. That means the document James Comey has been fighting in court doesn't legally exist. It's a nullity. An indictment that was never properly returned cannot be enforced. Michael Dreeben, one of the country's most skilled legal advocates with over 100 Supreme Court arguments, made this crystal clear in court. If only the foreman and one other grand juror saw the indictment, there is no indictment. The prosecution has been proceeding on nothing. This raises massive questions about Attorney General Pam Bondi's role. Bondi submitted affirmations to the court twice, certifying the propriety of Halligan's grand jury presentation. She affirmed that proper procedures were followed, but if what emerged in court today is accurate, those affirmations were false. Ty Cobb went further. He stated both Halligan and Bondi should be disbarred. If Bondi knew about the grand jury problems and certified otherwise, that's not incompetence. That's lying to a federal court. And lying to a federal court is prosecutorial misconduct that destroys careers and undermines public trust in the justice system. The implications extend beyond disbarment. This case was politically charged from the start. James Comey's defense team has argued vindictive prosecution and selective prosecution. They've claimed this entire case exists because the president ordered Bondi to hold Comey accountable. Now, with the indictment exposed as legally non-existent, those arguments just got dramatically stronger. What happens next is the critical question. Normally, when an indictment gets dismissed, the government has 6 months to represent the case to a grand jury, even if the statute of limitations has expired. But this situation is different. This indictment doesn't need to be dismissed because it never legally existed in the first place. That distinction matters enormously. If the judge rules there is no indictment to dismiss, the 6-month rule for representation might not apply. The case could simply cease to exist. No dismissal. No representation window, just a legal nullity that disappears from the court system. For James Comey, this is vindication. His legal team has been arguing denial of due process, miscarriage of justice, and vindictive prosecution since day one. Today's courtroom admission validates every concern they raised. Legal experts now believe this case will never reach trial. Comey will never be held accountable in the manner the government desired. But the damage extends beyond one failed prosecution. This case exposes fundamental questions about special counsel appointments, prosecutorial oversight, and political interference in the justice system. If Halligan was appointed specifically because of her inexperience and willingness to follow orders without proper legal scrutiny, that's a systemic problem. Who was overseeing Halligan's work? Who reviewed the grand jury procedures before the indictment was filed? How did an indictment that violates basic legal requirements make it into federal court? These questions don't have satisfying answers, and that should concern everyone regardless of political affiliation. The justice system depends on procedural integrity. When prosecutors cut corners, fabricate indictments, or lie to courts, the entire system loses legitimacy. When attorney generals certify false procedures, public trust erodes. When special counsels operate without oversight, defendants lose due process. What happened today in that courtroom isn't just about James Comey. It's about whether the justice system can function when politics override legal standards. And right now, the answer looks deeply troubling.